Have these leaders with us. I'd like to call upon Khatija Khan, the Chief Executive Officer of the Pakistan Alliance for Early Childhood Education. We are also very privileged that in this session we have Amir Hassan, the Global Lead for Early Childhood Development and a Senior Economist at the World Bank. He'll be joining us live from Washington. I don't know what time it is over there, but thank you, Amir. I hope you're there. And I hope our technology team has got everything well focused so that our speakers are all there live and part of this panel. Amir has been with the World Bank. As I said, he's a senior economist and the Education Global Practice Head of the World Bank, focusing on the South Asia region. He is the bank's global lead for early childhood development, and this is so wonderful to see someone who will be joining us from that perspective and to be able to inform as we move forward. And we're calling already what we are doing today and tomorrow a movement for early childhood education and foundational learning. We have with us, of course, the celebrated Dr. Aisha K. Yousafzai, and she's the Professor of Child Development and Health, Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health, and visiting faculty at the Khan University. She has completed her doctoral degree at the Institute of Child Health at the University College London, and she's been focusing on international child health, nutrition, and development, and we know how important that holistic perspective is. She's been doing enormous amount of research for the past 20 years, in low and low middle income countries, and has lived and worked in South Asia and East Africa and led several program evaluations in Central and Eastern Europe. She also serves on a number of global advisory groups on early childhood development and has worked and continues to work with agencies such as UNICEF, WHO, and the World Bank. We also have today a surprise panelist. And I'm so delighted. Her mother was very sick, but still she's joined us with a recorded presentation, and that is Ms. Evelyn Santiago, who is the Executive Director of ARNEC. ARNEC is the Asia Pacific Regional Education Network for Early Childhood. So with this as our set of panelists, I'm delighted for all of you to be all eyes and ears for this opening plenary. I want to make an announcement very quickly, and that is that this plenary will go on till lunch. We've shifted the other technical sessions immediately after lunch. That gives us a little bit more time for questions and answers. And since we have this on Facebook Live, there may be questions also on the Facebook, on social media. If so, the team will be ready to take those questions, bring it to us, and if they have a particular panelist to whom the question is being addressed, we will ensure that those questions really do get to them. And of course, you as a live audience sitting right here will also be privileged to a question and answer session. And I hope I can manage this panel timing really well so that we have some conversation going. This panel and this opening plenary really looks at the discussion around the strategies to improve access and enrollment in early childhood education, approaches to enhance the quality and play-based learning in ECE programs, and professional development, as that lies at the core of it. The whole idea of workforce and professional development of early childhood practitioners, pathways to addressing gender disparity in early years, and promoting girls' access to early childhood education as a means of school readiness, and dare I say, also children with disabilities. Innovative financing models and partnerships now being ambitious, but why not? Since early childhood doesn't beget that kind of attention for financing of early years, we need to think about innovative financing, and there'll be more of that in the concurrent technical sessions after lunch. And of course, effective methods to raise parental awareness and involvement in early childhood. So without further ado, what we would like to do is to start with a kind of a regional perspective, and immediately we come down to the context of Pakistan. But I think Evelyn has been very generous and has helped us to also focus on aspects of early childhood, particularly with respect to emergencies and climate change. And I think that would be very welcome if we can start with a 4-minute short address to that. And every panelist over here and also online will be talking roughly between 6 to 7 minutes so that we have some room for question and answers. We will, and please all of you, do me a big favor as we round up this session. Please remember what the calls to action are from here. Let it not be my job, but I'd like to see how awake all of you are and how committed you are. In case I forget a call to action, tell us what the call of action is, because that is so critical. Today, I said to someone, it's music to our ears. What we've been working for 30 years in this country to see that commitment and passion to early childhood and foundational learning, a paradigm shift is taking place. The high stakes examinations, no offense to Kaisar Saab and the boards of intermediate and secondary education, you cannot be successful, there cannot be high stakes unless the high stakes start right from the early years. That's when you have sustainable high stakes. This society is ready for that shift of sustainable high stakes, starting right when the child is conceived all the way up. So can we begin with Evelyn's...
Good morning, everyone. On behalf of ARNEC, the Asia Pacific Regional Network for Early Childhood, I would like to congratulate the Ministry of Federal Education and Professional Training and its partners for organizing this learning conference on early childhood education.
Saying this is absolutely, it sets the context for our next speaker, the Secretary Education, Sindh Education Literacy Department, Ghulam Akabr Laghari Saab. But before he speaks, please remember that ARNEC is there as a friend of Pakistan. It's a regional professional network that you can count on, and many of us are members there, and our various departmental secretaries have also been there to ARNEC's various meetings, and they are there to support us in technical areas such as research and capacity building. Now we're really looking forward to Laghari Saab's presentation, but I think where Evelyn stopped is a very important segue to his presentation or conversation, and that is that she alluded to the whole issue of climate change. Pakistan is the 8th most vulnerable country ranked on the climate change index. And we cannot, when we're talking about a roadmap, we cannot possibly leave that out. Over to Laghari Saab. And Laghari Saab, we have about 7 minutes, and please feel free to address this as you wish.
Hello. Thank you. Thank you very much, and I'm grateful for Federal Ministry of Education for giving us this opportunity and arranging this conference. A lot of educators, educational philosophers, and the senior persons are sitting here, and I don't need to go into the philosophy of the early childhood education, but allow me to say a few words about its historical development and the perspective where, according to which we are here today. For centuries, I have seen that for centuries, the point of view about education has been that Platonic, that the human beings have some certain inherent qualities which the educators and the parents have to discover. We can't educate the soul, but we can uncover or discover the qualities or the education which the soul has got from before coming into the world. And that point of view has remained for centuries. But until recently, at the advent of modern philosophy and modern psychology, the view about this was challenged and completely, I can't say rejected, but the changed 180 degrees, and they said that this is other way around. The phenomenologists, especially the Edmund Husserl and Brentano and then other Heidegger, they said that the existence precedes essence. Essence comes later. First is the existence, and there's no inherent quality in the human being. That point of view was taken up by and developed by Freud, and I would like to quote Will Durant here, my favorite philosopher, that horses are born, humans are made. पैदा तो घोड़े होते हैं, इंसान बनाए जाते हैं. Humans are made, humans are not born. Animals are born, birds are born, everyone is born. We get birth, we are born like a biological species, but we are not born as a human being. We are born like every other species is born. But for making a human being, we have to make something. And then that point of view was developed by other psychologists also, that the child should be given education, since he or she doesn't have that inherent education. So we have to give that education from the childhood. And then the world started giving, sending his children to school since the age of 3 years or 4 years or 2 years, and sometimes today in different countries the ages are different. So we realized this thing late in Pakistan and in Sindh. The private schools had started earlier the early childhood education, but there was no concept of early childhood education in government schools. Government schools worked traditionally like the school going age was officially 5 years, but sometimes it was 6 years or 7 years. Practically it was 6 or 7 years. In some of the parts in urban areas it was 5 years. But the government of Sindh realized that no, we have to start this early childhood education and we have to formalize it. Then formally Sindh government started early childhood education, established about 6,000 early childhood education centers and recruited teachers. We made then a recruitment policy for the early childhood teachers. We introduced the educational programs for early childhood education. Today, only 635 teachers are there who are trained in ECE. When we started the recruitment, we faced the challenge of the trained teachers for ECE. We did not have the ECE children. We could only get 600 or 700 something teachers, and we employed all these teachers. And then we started the work. But we had established, with the help of UNICEF and other NGOs and government and developmental partners, we had established 6,000 early childhood education centers equipped with modern equipments. But due to dearth of these teachers, we started another program that the teachers who are already there in schools, we gave them the special training. We developed curriculum for them. We gave them training at our TTIs, and then now they are working. About 3,000 teachers were trained, and they are working as ECE children. A lot of challenges are there. Now, people are sending their children. Even where we do not have the ECE centers, people are sending their children. And the need for the ECE classes is increasing day by day. And I was discussing with one of my teachers, headmistress, that she told me that she has 100 children, ECE children in her school, but there is only one teacher. Whereas the student-teacher ratio for ECE classes should be 1 to 20. There should be one teacher for 20 children. But one teacher is teaching 100 children. And that's quite difficult. This is a big challenge. how to employ